All right, so today we're going to talk about finishing up our products CRUD that we created. And we have a delete method and a show method and an edit method, and those all, I believe we were finished and they were all working, except for these issues where I had an edit, all right? Because these were going to redirect back to another page. Same with the delete, they redirect back to another page. And to get them to work initially, I turned off executing or echoing out the header, the Chrome around the site, right? So that doesn't look very good. That's not going to be deployable. So anytime I do a redirect in my code, I cannot change the headers. You get that error that says you've already output something to the buffer. I can't change the headers now. You're too late. So there are ways that I can output to a buffer instead, a string that's held in memory until the point of time when I want to return and quit the entire program and display the page. So that way I can save all the data I need to, the footer and the header, all to this string, and I can keep adding to it, and in the meantime I can also change the header at the same time. Okay, so to do that there is a method called obstart and obflush and obend and obendClean. So there are different methods here that deal with saving all of your echo statements to this internal buffer. So anytime you do an echo, it saves it to this string that this obstart method keeps in memory. Then when you want to, you say, okay, I'm done. I want to flush this, and it will print it out to this HTML buffer then. It ships it out to the browser. So all we have to do is call this method, obstart. And there's a lot of other things we can add to that. You can have callback functions, and we won't get into any of that. We don't need any of that code. We just want to say obstart. So let's look at our delete method first and see if this one works. We did a redirect here, and let's say we have our echo in here. This header then will not work, right? Let's make this bigger so we can actually see it. If I run this delete now on my little page, it's growing bigger. If I show delete, well, what happened? I'm not signed in, it didn't upload. Holy cow, come on. That's why it worked, right? All right, now it's uploaded. Let's delete another of these guys down here. I get an error, delete from, because I echoed this out to the screen. I can't modify the header information anymore. So I have to save that to a buffer so that I can do that. So one way to do that is at the top, before I do any requiring or anything else, I'm going to say obstart. All right, that tells it that any echo from this point on is going to be stored in this internal string buffer that OB has here. Then if I happen to do a redirect, right before I do the redirect, I could call obclean, and that destroys the output buffer, and then it lets me do my redirect. All right, this will make more sense when I have an if, in the edit and the new methods. So this should make this work now. It should. There we go. So let's delete another guy. I've got a bunch of these guys I could delete. Deleted fine. Everything came back and restored. Did the redirect just fine. All right, so let's add this same type of functionality to the new method, I believe, is the one that we had a redirect on as well. But sometimes this redirect only happened in certain cases. In this case, it only happens if we submit everything and actually insert data into the database. So at the top, we're going to add this OB start again. And all of these, I can now put my headers back in. Let's look at this real fast, except this is going to screw it up. If I look at my edit. See, well, that's my edit. That's not the one I want. New. Well, I already undid it. I already put the output. So, never mind. All right, so we have our OB start. All of this data that's requiring the header, that does a lot of echoing out, right, of the top HTML of my page and the head and the starting divs and my nav and all that stuff is getting echoed out here. Then later on, I'm going to do some stuff here. I can still echo this out if I want. And if I'm going to do a redirect, I don't care about anything that's in my output buffer right now, right? There's nothing, because the page is going to be reloaded. So right before here, I can do my OB clean and destroy that output buffer and then do my header and everything should work fine there. But at the very end, I've done all of these echoes and nothing will happen, hopefully. Oh. Let's reload my new page. That's interesting. We want to output our data, and for some reason it's allowing me to do that anyway, which is strange. The OB end flush method will output that data to the output buffer. It actually prints it out to the screen. So I would normally call this method at the end. I'm not sure why it's doing that anyway. I would say OB flush, OB end flush. And that's going to send the data out to the browser with all the data intact from all of the echoes that I've done. I don't know why. Interesting. So here's my new, I can do something. And say new product, and this should hopefully work. Does my select, reloads me back to my main page, and my new product was created here. Right here in the middle. Here, see that? All right, so that's my new product that got created. All right, so that output buffer is very key if you're ever going to be doing redirects, like the new method, the update method, and the delete method. Those are the ones that we had to do redirects on. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Seems pretty straightforward. All right, one thing while we're here, notice that new record got put in the center of my data here. Why? Why is this not outputting it in numerical order? Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. I'm not doing any sort order. So when I go to my products page and I get the data from the server, all I'm doing is I'm getting the first 30. Right? So if I want to order these by something, I need to add an order by to sort my table, let the database do the sorting for me, and I get the returned results in order. So I can add an order by, order by, and a column name, maybe the title. What is my title? My name. So let's order by the name column. Instead, I could by product ID. I can do anything I want. Yes. I'm the master of my program, right? Isn't that what Tom says all the time?
No.
I do. Yeah,
He says that all the time, yeah. What did I do? Called a member fetch on non-object. What? Oh. Oh, because name is reserved, right. So I can put some ticks on that guy. Right. The name is reserved. That's a problem. So that's much better. So what is wrong with that? All right, so this is good. Let's take this select statement, and we can look in our database connection that we set up to our database. We'll go look at our products table. And we can do a database console and copy that in place. And I can run this, and that might be the problem right there. I didn't have a semicolon. Let's run this line. All right, so I have an error, and it says right near to use by order by. All right, so order is not working right. Or it's in the wrong order.
So when you throw a SQL select statement in there, it automatically runs the last line.
No, it runs the line that my insertion point is on.
Gotcha.
Or I can select all of it and it'll do all of them. But
I remember you said that. It's just kind of spaced.
let's change the order and see if that's going to work. That worked. All right, so I do the order by first, and then I limit it after that. So I'm only going to get 30. All right, so that's pretty useful. I can now take this line back, put it back in my products page, and that should now work. Let it upload to the server. Reload my page, and now they're ordered by the name column. Isn't that sweet? And if I want to change it, Desiree wanted these by ID, so this would be by product ID as the column name. Well, it makes sense for you, the developer, but it might not make sense to the users. In the user view, we might not even show the ID, right? That doesn't make sense to them at all, unless it's like a part number or something like that that makes sense. So in this case, we would probably hide that column completely. We wouldn't display it.
You wouldn't print it out?
No. For development purposes, as we're going along, though, it helps me because I know that this is product ID 6. I can hover over this and say, okay, I'm going to be deleting product 6. I can make sure that the ID goes all the way through my forms. Okay. Yep.
If you don't want customers to see the ID, but yet you want other web admins to see
Mm-hmm.
the ID,
Mm-hmm.
can you put credentials on there?
Yes. Yeah, we'll get to that next week or the week after when we add authentication to the site. Yeah. When we get authentication, you can log in, and based on who's logged in, we would display a different page.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Or just disable some columns. So,
Sorry, I jumped a little.
no, that's good. It's a good question, and it's something definitely we need to do. So we will be doing that later. All right. Any other questions on ordering? I just wanted to cover that real fast. Am I still recording? I am.
I don't know when it's on.
Yeah, it's over on this side.
So that we can't see like if it's recording or anything.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Number.
We can't tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
this-
see the number.
this
We can't
helps,
see
yeah.
the little volume checker thing.
Yeah.
That lets us know if it's turned off for whatever reason.
All right. Any other questions on the CRUD? I think we've covered the entire CRUD scenario. Isn't that cruddy? We've done all of the pages. And this is just one way to do it again. You could write one page that did it all. And you might pass in the query string the command that you want to have. Say, I want the command to be edit, and that runs a different piece of code. Your first page is going to be, 200 or 300 lines long, but it's one page that keeps getting posted to. When I first taught that, that's what I did, and it got too confusing to the students. That's probably the way I would write it myself. But this has a lot more files that you have to deal with, but it breaks down the functionality into smaller bytes, so it's a little easier to take. Now, I've had a few people with the same question in that, for instance, the edit. When you go to edit from our page here, this seems to be a really common bug. If I go to edit, notice I'm passing the ID in the query string when I first click on the edit button. So my edit page knows to go query the database for product 6, get all the fields, and then it populates my form for me. All right? So here's another place where I'm going to have to do the OB start and stuff to get this to work right. But it populates it, goes out and does a query. I populate my form. And then my form then, to go to the next page, I have to send along the same product ID so I know which product to update. So that product ID has to be sent in one of two ways. Either in the post, in the form itself, I could add a hidden input field, a hidden field that has the product ID in it. That would be one way to do it. The way I did it was I made my form poster. I added the product ID in the query string of the action command of my form so that it passed it through to the next page so that I could remember what product ID I'm working with. And then I retrieved it from the get array. The other way would be to make this a hidden field. I could say input type equals hidden, value equals ID, name equals product ID. All right, that would then come in via what associative array? The post. So I would retrieve it by using post here instead of the product ID. So two different ways, but one or the other is required, or I don't know what ID to deal with. You're always changing record number 1 or record 0 or something like that. That's a real common error.
In a real world scenario, which methods would you think would be more better way to go about that? Or is it just kind of personal preference?
It's a personal preference, but probably the hidden field, because then it keeps your URL clean. It's a little cleaner. There's no reason, though, for security reasons, because this form is just as hackable as the query string. I can hack this in exactly, well, it might take me 30 seconds longer to hack it through the hidden field than it would in the query string. So it doesn't matter security-wise, but for nice URLs, I'd probably switch it.
When they pull up the source, doesn't it show the hidden field in the source?
Yep.
So
So you're not gaining anything security-wise. Yeah. Also, I saw one person do this, and I was going to make a mention of it, and I forgot. They did something like this. All right, so they put to make it nice and easy to program. They put the array and retrieved data from the query string and put it right into my SQL statement. Why is that a bad idea? SQL injection, right? I'm taking untrusted data straight from the user and I'm stuffing it into my SQL command. Really a bad idea. Don't ever do that. You need to at least, what I did up here was I changed it, I think I changed it into a number or something for that one. But we always want to clean our data, and I didn't do that on this one either. This is my edit. How would I clean my data before I call my SQL statement here? Let me undo that because that's really bad. There's a cool little clean method, right? I can say, for instance, my name, I'm going to reassign it the MySQL, too many eyes, real escape string of the connection and the string that I want to clean. So that's one way to do that. I would have to do that on every single line. So to make this a little cleaner, how can I make this only have to assign this once? If I do this up here, then my name is already going to be cleaned through the connection, and this post value is going to come into the method. So I only have to do it once. So that's the way I would do my code. I would add this to all of your strings. So that that helps to eliminate some SQL injection. Because again, if you leave it open like that, they can close off the command with a semicolon. The standard SQL injection looks something like this. They put an input that looks like this. Insert user. Yeah, I have to figure out the command, but you could insert yourself as an admin user in their user table. And this first quote finishes off the last command, and it might have an error in it, but that's okay. This semicolon says, okay, I'm done with that last command. Let's start a new SQL command, and they can do anything they want. They can drop a table. They can insert themselves as an admin, anything they want. Yep. Well, then what they do is they try to crash your site so that they get error messages on the screen like you guys see, and people forget to take out those notices, that error condition string that we put in there. They forget to take that out, and it barfs up all over their screen showing them what tables you have and the names of your columns. No. Not on your live site. You should change that to not display those. No, I didn't mention that. No. I was just going to grade you wrong on it first.
Man, you're taking less than win.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions on this? All right.